Hi, I'm Brennan from W.A.F.F.L.E.S Community Robotics, and in this video we're going to take a look at loops and switches. They can be found in the orange palette, the flow control palette right here. This is a loop, a switch, and a loop interrupt, which we'll talk about later. First, let's pull out a loop. So, right here is the loop name, so it'll identify the loop, mainly for a loop interrupt, which we'll look at in a second. Here is all the settings for how long the loop runs, depending on can depend on sensors or inputs. But the main three that I want to look at are unlimited, count, and time for right now. So unlimited is pretty obvious. It goes for unlimited time, so forever, unless you have a loop interrupt. Loop interrupt, when you plop it in, as soon as it executes that block, you change it. Okay, so identify it with the same name as the loop, and then whenever that block is activated, the loop will cancel and it'll exit the loop immediately. And that's the only setting for that. Get rid of that. So the other settings for loop is count. Once again, really simple. Just change the number of however many times you want it to run. So right now it's running one time through. You could have it 0 times if you wanted it to run once for some reason. Seen cases like that, or however many, say just 10 for now. And the final setting for loops is time. So it just runs the loop for however many seconds. That's 5 as the default. And if we drag out the switch is like an if statement, kind of like the loop is like a while statement for other programming languages. Basically, an if statement is if this, then that. So we're gonna not go into the touch sensor right now, but what we're gonna do is numeric. So numeric, basically what this loop is looking at, or the switch is looking at, is an input which happens to be 0 right now, but you can put any input that's numeric in here, which you'll see how to do later. And if the resultant of the input is 1, then it'll go to the top part, and if the resultant is 0, it'll go to the bottom part. This default case basically means that if it's none, so if it's neither, so if it's not 1 or 0, then it will go to the top part. This is important to note just in case you get an unexpected value, then you might have it doing something that you don't want it to do. The addition that's different about the EV3 software compared to the NXTG software is normally for NXTG, if you wanted to do multiple, if you had multiple outcomes other than just 2, you'd have to take another switch and then put it in one of the branches of the switch to ask another question. But EV3 incorporates something called an else if, which is super useful. What you can do is you can add a case, and then over here you can add another case. So say that you had a or a third possibility that it was, say, 2. Then now if the input is 2, it'll go down here, and you can add however many you want. The final kind of feature of the switch is you can go to tabbed view. So if we expand this so you can see, it's exactly the same thing, except you're looking at all the different tabs. You have to click on each tab for each option. Works the same way, just it's a little bit cleaner to look at. But the downside is you don't have all the information on it on the screen at the same time. And that's pretty much it about this. Be sure to check out our other videos and stay tuned for new updates.